committees. Boy, did anybody meet?
We did not as a forestry.
No.
And
I think just finance, and Sheena's going to cover that. So, all right, moving right along. We'll go right into Superintendent Jeff Nelson.
Well, good evening. I will start off with our enrollment projections. And really, I don't look at these numbers firm until we get at least October 1. But as far as what we have on paper right now, we're looking at 437 students enrollment K-12, and that's up 9 students compared to the end of last school year. Summer enrollment changes in the elementary. We have 8 new enrollees and we had 5 transfer out. In the high school we have 10 new enrollments and 4 transfers out. Kindergarten, our VPK is set at 20 students. Kindergarten is at 25. First grade is 26. Second grade is at 40. Third grade at 37. Fourth grade at 25 and fifth grade at 34. In the high school, our 6th grade's at 37, 7th grade is at 34, 8th is at 36, 9th grade is at 25, 10th has 35, and 11th is at 33, and 12th is 37. Any questions on enrollment? Anything you want to add with enrollment at this point?
More space, so it'll be interesting what it ends up at next week. But
Okay.
definitely moving in the right direction.
Okay, good.
and I know you talked about that at length, but the VPK is still, I mean, is a changeable number, or 20 is the number?
20 is kind of the cap as far as the staffing that we have in there, as far as the teacher and a para. So there's certain parameters for VPK we have to stay within. Mm-hmm. So it's...
So the only way you could expand that would be...
Add staff.
Add staff.
Yes.
Okay.
I have an update on the business manager posting and SMS contract. I think we've had up to maybe 4 applicants at one time. We're down to 2 applicants. One withdrew their application. The other one that has not completed signing off on the background check and some of those things. So what I am proposing for now, we're looking at 3 to 4.
That was interesting.
What I was saying is we're going to have at least 3 new board members. Try it one more time. With the turnover with board members, I'm recommending that we go with probably in September approving an SMS contract. It's a 3-year contract. My rationale with that is we've negotiated some cost savings there. It would be nice to work that in. There's a 60-day notice when I'm talking with Todd, so if something changes after January, we still can opt out of that contract. I just think it'd be something for the new board to address after January. So that would be my recommendation. It's not an action item tonight. I did include the SMS contract in the board packet for your review. So I will plan on bringing that for more action at our September board meeting. Any questions on that? Okay. Some other staffing updates. We did have a last-minute resignation from Janelle Lowe's. We do have Nyla O'Connell, who's agreed to come back for the short term or midterm, depending on how it goes. So we have it covered to begin with, and we're advertising and looking for other options. That would be a high school special ed position. I have an addition to the appointments. We have an additional resignation, Tilly Thompson. And we can bring Christopher Thune back. And I think she'll be going into payroll.
Yes.
So we'll add that. So we have 2 appointments. We're bringing back Kelsey Armstrong as a paraprofessional and Christopher Thune. Update on referendum. I've been working with Seth to put together a slide deck for information on the referendum. In fact, I got to try out part of that at today's in-service, presenting to the staff. So I'll be getting some feedback, I hope, on things that I need to tweak. And then I'll get that posted publicly as well, so you can see what's presented to the staff. We do have open house this Wednesday. It'd be a good opportunity to have information for families as they come in. I'd like to set up a table, like the main doors, where everyone follows through. It would be really awesome if we could get a couple of board members. It's from 4 to 7 on Wednesday. We'll have information, we'll have handouts. I think the one thing I'm waiting on right now for our web page is a QRI. What's the
QR code.
QR code? It's been a long day, I'm sorry. QR code that people can access the tax calculator.
That's up and running.
We're working really close to having that running.
It will be back.
But we'll have it, hopefully by Wednesday, we'll have all that information. We'll pull together some paper handouts if we want. But that would be a good point to be accessible to the public. You can let me know now, or you can email me if you're available.
If we have more than, do we have 4? Do we have to post?
We wouldn't have to all be there at the same time.
Yeah.
So like if we broke it up to 2 groups of 1 or 2.
What are your times?
4 to 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm available that whole time, so
Yeah.
any,
I'd like to be.
It's not a
Good.
meeting or anything like that, it's just the.
Yeah.
The second half.
You said the second half? I'll do the first half. We got 3, so we're good.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you. I've been in contact with Tracy Cole from Kraus Anderson. Let me back up. I spoke to a couple superintendents that have gone recently through some referendums, especially building bonds. And one thing they suggested that we look at is there might be some benefits of getting a construction manager on board even prior to the passage of the referendum. Most of them don't charge any fees until you've actually successfully passed the referendum. I'd like to set up a meeting with Tracy Cole from Kraus Anderson Tuesday or Wednesday. If 1 or 2 of you would like to sit in on that, you can let me know what times would work. He'll go over kind of what pre-election day services they can provide. We can talk about what they can offer as a construction manager. I'm looking at some other companies who want to go out for quotes on this. It's nothing that has to be out on bid or anything. But we want to look at other companies. That's an option as well.
What day did you say that was?
Tuesday or Wednesday. I haven't set a date or time.
not tomorrow, but next week.
This week. Tuesday or Wednesday this week.
I mean, so it's the end of August. When will people get their ballots? Does anybody know when people get
It's in September.
I mean, I don't know that we have time to wait. to go out and talk to other people. I just don't feel we do. I feel like we have to move forward now with our promotions and getting it worked out. So,
And Kraus Anderson is fairly reputable. They've done work around here before. Dale, you were saying that on the rink. We were fortunate to have them. You felt good about that. So at least there, I mean, at some point, if we want to split off, I suppose we can talk about it then. But.
and it doesn't lock us into anything financially at this point. We're not saying we're going to use you for everything. It's, I don't know.
I'd be around Wednesday if you, I can't do it tomorrow.
Anyone else want to sit down now?
Possible, depends on the time.
Yeah. What time would work for you?
Pretty much any time barring something else that like during the day would be fine too, as long as I don't have some other commitment that I've got to go, some fire I have to go to.
Do you have a preferred time?
Nope, not between 4 and 7. I got a commitment.
That's right, let's say we have it done by 4, so, all right. I'll try to get like a mid-afternoon time.
Yeah, that would be fine.
All right, I'll let you know. At least we can look at what things they can do to help us at this juncture, and then give us a sense of what it would look like down the road after the election. Next item I have is, and we'll add this to the written communication, I have a resignation email, used to be a resignation letters, but resignation email from Carla Rivera, resigning her post as school board director, effective 9/1/2024. She's moved to town, so she's no longer a resident of her district and cannot serve on the board. We missed the deadline to try to get this on ballot for this November. There's some change with the legislature that went from, used to be 84 days and they moved it down to 74 days or something like that, so.
Well, she probably didn't know exactly. I mean, it's not done till you
No,
sign on the
until you
dotted
sign on the
line.
dotted
Yeah.
line and, yeah. So it will be an appointment, and I sent out in the packet, I guess, that I forgot about, but you also have a paper copy. And there's some flexibility. We'll probably post the opening on the board this week yet in the public. What I need from you folks is, do we want to have them complete the questions, some of the questions that they suggest? Do you just want to review those and make the determination if there's more than one person? Do you want to schedule interviews?
Should we see what kind of a response we get before we get too in-depth on the interview? I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but it's sometimes hard to get people to step forward on that.
I think sample questions are helpful.
So written, we could do the, because when I advertise, I want to give people kind of a flavor for what's going to happen. If we come up with, if they're interested, here's the information, here are the questions we would like you to expound on, and then interviews or appointments to follow, and we'll set a date to review those. Does that sound appropriate?
Yep.
So once, ideally with only 4 people on the board, I don't know if it's possible to have an appointment by the September board meeting, which would be ideal because there's a 30-day public input period from the date of the appointment to when they can take office. So if we wanted to have someone sitting at the table in October, we'd have to do it in September.
Does the appointment have to be from her district or?
Yep, they
That's-
have,
yeah.
they have to live in the district. Yeah. And then, once we have the appointment, there's some latitude as far as running a special election, but somewhere between January and November of next year, we'll have to run a special election. To fill that.
And we talked about this, but we don't know that there will be any other election. I mean, it would just be for this one question.
More than likely. So
At
we
the
can
moment, it would
decide
be the one question.
after January what,
Okay.
when we want to run the special election.
I mean, we don't have the right to wait a year and get an election cycle, because it would be 2 years down the road, I suppose.
I think the statute says that, I think by next November, election day in November 5th, whatever it falls on.
Let's double check it, but yeah.
Yeah, that's when you said that recently changed.
Yeah.
They've changed things around, but we can do appointment, but we still have to do the special election, and you'd have to do it within the next cycle, so whether it's, I can't remember what dates there are, I think there's a date in April,
Yeah, there's like
August,
4 or maybe 5 days.
5 days, so it doesn't have to be up next November, but the board might choose to do so. So I
Kind
will-
of, yeah. I mean, if there's no reason to wait, then, yeah.
So I'll draft an ad and come up with the questions, I think the ones that MSB has on theirs are fine. If you have anything else that you want me to include in them, just let me know. I will try to do that. Won't go in the paper till next week, but we can get it posted on our website and social media, maybe by then this week.
And then on our board agenda for tonight, we'd have to put Carla's,
Yep, we'll add that, I put it under,
To
I just wrote
resignation.
down with written communication, and if you want to accept her resignation, we'll make that, whoever,
so we covered on number 5 on the agenda. Yeah, because we have to do declare a vacancy, I guess.
you want to make it an action item or leave it up at number 5? I don't know if it needs,
It needs, we don't need to
we just
accept
need
it?
to probably,
Just
heard?
acknowledge
just
it,
acknowledge
Just,
it,
yeah.
and the date is September 1st.
Yep,
So that sounds like written communication number 5?
Yep.
Is that what we're saying? Okay.
FEMA appeal number 2. We're working on that, it's due September 9th.
So they
Right.
turned down our first one?
They turned on the first one.
Okay.
I did talk to Wayne, and I can't remember his last name.
They turned down our appeal, or is this the appeal that they turned down our?
They denied the first appeal.
Okay,
We can submit a second appeal.
okay.
And I know how second appeals
Yeah, it's probably
statistically
good.
go. But I did talk to Wayne at the state level, and he suggested that
Worth a shot.
it's worth a shot.
Worst they're gonna do is say no.
So I'll be working with him to resubmit that, and that's on the fixed track damage. Update on buildings and grounds. If you look around, the building's in really good shape, and things are looking good for the start of the year, so kudos to all the custodial staff, the Dale and Kyle, for organizing things. And I told the staff this morning that this year, because of my position changes, they're a little more intimately involved in what they go through to get everything lined up and the work that they put in during the summer. So a little more firsthand knowledge of what they're doing, and I'm very impressed with all that we have people working for the district. So. We also have a celebrity in the room. So Dale has been awarded the Minnesota Educational Facility Management Professional Facility Worker of the Year for the Northwest Chapter. Congratulations to Dale. So Dale and Kyle will be, let me back up. This award recognizes work ethic, stewardship of school property, initiative, and mentoring others. So congratulations to Dale. And he'll receive that award on October 3rd at St. Cloud convention, so good job. Truth and taxation hearing. No. Unless we want to talk about one.
Open to it?
I heard raised. Truth and taxation hearing. I'm recommending we set the date for Monday, December 16th at 6 p.m. Next board meeting, so
Oh,
National,
yeah.
National Night Out. Thanks to Mary for helping pull things together and man the table. It was good. It was fun. Yeah, she handed out a bunch of trinkets. The nice word to say for, and we had lots of kids.
And we
stopping
did school
in.
trivia.
And we
It
had
was
school
fun.
trivia, and we had some information on our stop it program and the youth theater. In fact, I think Sam, she's not here tonight, said, I think it was just a day or two later, she had a bunch of kids show up to the theater that, so we had a really good turnout. So I don't know if those are kids that walked by the table that night, but, so it's a good community event. And we'll continue to do something there in the future as well. Sam is going to hopefully be here at 6:45, and I'm bringing this up now. If she doesn't make it at 6:45, or if we're ahead of the game, on your table, I think it was requested to get some cost on the Ed Plus. That's there. I'm not going to step on her toes, but if she's not here when she needs to be, we can go over that if you'd like. That's all I have, unless you have questions.
Is this per edition or total for the year?
The printing, mailing,
Well, total per issue. Never
total
mind, at the top.
$785.64
It
per
does say
issue.
total per issue, yeah.
Yep. And we're doing that, we're looking at twice a year instead of 3 times, so that's the difference there.
Okay.
So,
Sorry.
He hasn't officially told me.
Mary is up here, so we'll move right along.
Good evening. Today was our first day of workshop. Great to have staff back in the building and a lot of positive energy. Very, very productive day and packed full of meetings. So starting tomorrow and Wednesday, teachers will get more work time in their classrooms to get ready for our open house. And I have open house listed there from 4 to 7, and 6th grade orientation is a set time at 5 o'clock, and then 9th grade orientation at 5:30, both in the auditorium. And first day of school next Tuesday, we are going to do an all-school assembly in the auditorium, so it'll be great to have all our kindergarten through 12th graders in the same room to give them a big welcome back. And then scheduled classes, I was obviously interrupted because I didn't type anything there where it says sub-item 4, but everything's in place. One class, our digital electronics, did not have any kids enrolled in it, so that class, Mr. Lane will be doing the study hall during that time, and it actually ended up being a good period because we had a very large number of kids with online classes between Acellus and college classes, so that'll help alleviate some of that pressure for Mrs. Crandall. And by doing that, it's also going to allow us to open up the library during the hour. Typically, Mrs. Crandall would be doing supervision, but we're going to open it up so if kids want to go in during that time and use it as a study space, they can. That is all I have. Any questions for me?
Short and sweet.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. Anyone else?
Are we gonna get a good turnout of parents at that open house? I mean, is that traditionally a
We
lot of
always
parents?
do. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, it will be a very busy, fun, exciting night. And also the concession stand's going to be open to serve supper to families, so we've advertised that to them. So hopefully with that time, it'll help that rush of people who are getting off work and trying to feed their kids and stuff if they want to come and do that here.
Okay, I'm just thinking about dispensing information about referendum stuff and, you know, getting the appropriate crowd in there.
Oh,
type
yes,
thing.
it'll be a busy crowd, very
Okay.
much so.
All right. Thank you very much. Sheena, business office.
So first I'm going to report on just the July 2024 fiscal year 25 financial activity. Just keep in mind that there's really not much that happens in July and August for revenue, but yet we still have a lot of expenditures, which will eventually catch up. So in the month of July, we have our expenditures are at 8% expended, all areas added together. Salaries and wages are at 4%, benefits 3%, purchase services 1%, supplies 3%, capital equipment 4%, food service 2%, and community ed 7%, for a total of $468,463.38. Our revenues, total all funds are at 3% for the year, for a total of $28,388.85. The revenue received is just levy county apportionment at 2% received. So the reason being is the state withholds our state aid payments until September, October usually. So I did run a state aid report just to where it shows what our payments are going to be estimated for the whole year. So on August 15th, our state aid payment should be $620,635.33. So across the state, schools don't get a state aid payment in July. So having a deficit, the starting of the school year is common. So just wanted to let everyone know that this is totally normal. The only grant we'll have for this year is our Title 401. ESSER is done. Last year, we just received a little bit of funds just because there was some extra money left at the state that we applied for. We are projected to receive $90,000 in Title 401 revenue. Right now, I'm working on audit, just, I'll go through kind of what we're doing and when we can expect it to be closed out. So right now, our auditors, we went with a new firm this year. We are working with Brady Martz, and we had worked with them probably 8 years ago, maybe, I'm just guessing. So they have a portal online, and I go through and I just upload and start to peck away and do things that they need. Things that I've taken care of thus far is our transportation expense and mileage reporting. I completed that on the state website also. I moved our accounts payable from 2024 to 2025 and also 2025 to 2024 based on when it was actually paid and when it should have actually been paid or reported. Accounts receivable has been moved from 2024 to 2025 and 2025 to 2024 based on when it actually occurred and was supposed to be received. Our food service inventory has been adjusted, and our commodities have been recognized and recorded based on the state rules for that. all federal grants received have been spent, and our UFARS matches the state MEG's website. Our pool levy transfer was completed. Our general ed aid adjustment was completed last week. Our state aid and levy aid has been spread, meaning when we receive the revenue, the state will give it to us in one UFARS quote. Then at the end of the year, once Diane Lane submits all her MARS data, which is basically our student enrollment and attendance information, then I log into the state website and I pull a report that tells us our exact ADM student count. Once we have that, I'm able to the penny, figure out exactly how much we're supposed to get. So then I divvy it out, and our revenue then is spread out in between all these categories, and then we spend them down. Just in a nutshell. But so I took care of all JEs for those things. So I spread the levy in our state aid. I also set up our receivables. So I calculated exactly how much we should be getting from the state that we haven't received yet, that 10% holdback. And I recorded the JEs so we know how much now. And then I did have my boss double check it last week, just so we know it's accurate. And I was off a little bit. It's my first time doing it, so I really appreciated his help on it, but it was off by about $180. So that's good. And our staff development JEs were done just for transportation, so I'm just working on spending down all those dollars that we got. A few things that I have to do the next week or two for audit. I need to take care of our property tax receivable. So I look at what we should have received from the county, and I look at what we actually received, and I record the difference. So basically record how much more we should be getting from the county. So then we record that revenue in 2025, but then we move it to 2024. And then we'll take care of our property tax shift, which again, it's just moving our revenue exactly where it should be. So we have a pretty good start on audit. Everything's uploaded, so our auditors have access to it. They also have access to our finance system. So keep in mind, these numbers will change, but as of today, after completing all of these entries, and we still have many more to complete, for 2024, we have a deficit of $177,544.29. So keep in mind, we still have our property taxes, our property tax receivable to generate and post. So our revenue should go up. So other than that, everything's looking really, really good. So it's still a work in process. So
In the finance committee meeting, so what we're hoping is that this number would not be a deficit once those property tax statement numbers are known, which would be much better than our original budget, which was to have a deficit of like 77 or something.
yes, we budget for a deficit of $77,752.
So we would be better than budget.
So
And maybe even above, I mean, in the positive.
yeah, so keep in mind, we're actually very close to being in SOD from this year. So to prevent that, we're spending down all of our fund balances. So making sure we spend all of our capital, all of our staff development in every area we can. And I think we're going to avoid it, just looking at all this and positions. So we'll do whatever we can to avoid it. But the school made many cuts and worked really hard the past year, and going from over $1 million deficit the prior year to being close to balancing at zero. And really good work on the board and making cuts and doing what we needed to do. So, and then coming into this school year, our budget's looking even better because we've been working towards this and making the cuts we need to get to where we need to be financially. So
I look at that from an auditor standpoint and wish that we had that information before December, because the cuts that were effective enough in January through June obviously made a big dent in it. But if a person could have looked at that in the 1st of September coming up with that kind of knowledge, and that's where the audit should come in. You say you're already starting that process, but being aware of those numbers sooner, it would have made a big difference too. Less of a nervousness to the end there.
Yep. And too, I feel this year, working with Brady Martz, I mean, it was May when they sent me like the portal information and said, hey, can you log in and make sure that you take care of this portion of the audit first? So basically it's signing off all the forms, giving them access to our bank accounts and financial information. So that way we're not waiting. And then I released, signed off on a paper and gave them permission to reach out to our prior auditors to get all that information. Last year, none of that was done until after our audit. So I feel like this auditor is really prepared, got everything going ahead of time just to make the process go much faster, and we shouldn't have a delayed submission. I mean, there's no way. We're making really good headway. So, and in the past, just working with Brady Martz, they usually provide us our, was it not working? I'm sorry. I thought it was. Usually provide us our final financial information by day 3 of the audit. When everything's done ahead of time and requested, it usually is finished up pretty fast. So an update on things that I'm working on. Besides audit, last week I went into the levy information system and I reported our pool expenses for FY24. That in turn sets our levy pool amount for 2025. And I also reported our arena lease dollar amount, just what we pay to the Arena Association, and then we in turn get money back from the state on that. And then I updated all the other information. So the next step would be I'll review our levy certification reports, make sure they're accurate, so at our meeting next month, as a board, you will approve the levy. So, employee wage agreements were completed and handed out to all staff today. I'm working on setting up payroll for the new school year and any benefit deduction changes for staff. All of this information will be updated and paid on the September 13th payroll. So it was a busy day. It was fun to have everyone back. So.
Okay, another simple question. If I'm delinquent in my taxes, Tim Lyon does not pay his taxes, does the county run a line of credit or something so that the transfer to the school, or do we have to sit and wait that out too for delinquent taxes to get paid?
We wait, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yep, wait it out. So they actually provide us several forms that are required by the state, and they're called Form 51, 452, they're tax settlement reports. So on each line, it tells us exactly how much we received in delinquent taxes. Like we just received some dollars from 2021 even. So, and then we even have to report it in our UFARs in that manner. So.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Nope.
Ma'am.
Give her 4 minutes. And you think she's gonna be here at 6:45?
Let's have, maybe we can have Mr. Bach go.
Sure.
Good evening. I have been working very hard of trying to get, last year we had 7 routes. I'm trying to get them down to 6 this year. And so I think I got one little more tweaking doing one of the routes, but I think it's gonna be a smooth process, and I think it's smart and financially responsible that we do it, so it can happen. And we're fully staffed with 6 drivers for all the routes, so we're good there. And I am training 3 new drivers right now, so that's a positive, because we need more drivers in the future. So that's all I got for now. Any questions?
So the 6 are for the 6 routes. So how many extra drivers do you need for all the extracurricular?
I think we have,
Like a handful, because,
well, I want to say last year we had 17 total drivers. Some only very seldom we sub, but some, I would say we needed at least like 5, 6 subs, good subs on hand to keep things going with all the trips and everything if somebody's sick or something happens. So yes, be very positive to get some new drivers coming in. So, but we should be looking pretty good this year, I'm hoping.
And when you say tweaking routes, but is that involved, like, now you've transferred little Johnny into the end route here, you know, last pickup or first pickup or something, is that involved calling the parents and saying, yeah, we're gonna pick your kid up at 6:45?
So we're getting rid of the Wabonica route. There was just a lot of kids in there. It wasn't long per se, but it was a full bus route. So we're putting those kids on further routes. So really the kids aren't gonna be riding the bus much longer. We're gonna have some full buses. So.
Do you have any buses running down County Road 83? That's the Renamo Road? Wait, Renamo's Wild Rice Road?
Oh, down that way?
Yep.
No. I think, no, we don't.
Haven't since.
It's been a long time.
The last one got his driver's license.
Yeah. I was just gonna ask you about any road construction or
I
anything.
was gonna say, good, because we're tearing out bridges and they're gonna be tied up for.
Okay, no, we don't go down there,
Somebody
thankfully.
will move in there on Monday.
Yeah. Every day I get new students in, so we're trying to get the routes all established and hopefully by tomorrow everybody's called and done, but I'm getting new sheets every day, so it's like, it's frustrating, but.
Plus, he's got some challenging trainees, so he's a little
Very
jumpy,
much.
there's a good reason.
is one of them in the room?
He can at least back up the bus very well, so that's a good start, so.
All right, anyone got anything else? Then we'll go back to Sam.
Yeah,
That's
great,
perfect.
thanks, John.
John, is Carla still driving a bus?
Yes, she is.
Okay. Hello, you're a small crew, small but mighty, right? I hope at some point on your way out you stop and take in the excitement in the volleyball game. JV was on their way to winning their first match, or their first set when I left. That first chunk in my report, you'll see our coaching lineup for the year, a couple of new faces, a couple of returners, which is always nice. Yeah, so a great crew, as always, really excited about the time and energy they're putting in. Another highlight, Jenny Skoog is running a home cross-country meet tomorrow out at Zippel Bay State Park. Runners start running at 10. So if you're looking for an adventure, you can head on out that way. Tim will be driving a Ranger and hopefully doesn't run over any kids. So it's a really great event. We did it for the first time last year. Rosa Warroad, International Falls, and us show up. It's a fun way to kind of be, we're on the beach. They finish at the beach, so everybody's hanging out down there for most of the day. It's a beautiful park, as we all know, and so it's a nice way to showcase that, especially as an early season run. Kids are getting warmed up. It's a little bit more relaxed than I think later season meets are. So excited about that. The Education Plus, I put this on here to just give you a heads up on a shift in, did you talk about this at all?
I tried not to, but they were asking me questions.
Okay, well, so you'll note that we've done a shift in the model on this. Relying more heavily on technology, which I acknowledge is not always a favorite to all demographics. Today, myself included, we're trying to run a QR code for the majority of our programs to try and save on printing, and Jeff saw me running like a banshee trying to make sure the link worked online. It is up and running now, but technology is not always the best. Having said that, this is a cost saver, which you'll note in the breakdown I sent. Can I just look at this because I don't have this in front of me? I don't know if the rest of the crew out here has this, but Total expense for running the more paper-like version was $4,362 over the course of the year. That was 3 editions, back to school, winter, and then spring. The current model, which will only run twice, is a total cost of $1,571, saving us a cost of $2,790 over the course of the year. So this also goes further. So by putting it in the trading post, we can hit the routes of Birchdale, all of Roosevelt, and the eastern rural Warroad route. Say that 10 times fast. So this, part of the reason to moving to the trading post was that it gave us a little bit more breadth. Not to say, Jeff and I have talked about using this model for referendum flyers as well. We could, my recommendation would be, yes, it will be more money, but you could put this in both the trading post and the Northern Light, potentially. Like, you're going to have to pay for some, you're just going to have to pay for some of it, and then you're ensuring that you're getting as many people as possible seeing it. So that was part of the rationale. It looks a little bit cleaner, I think, too, in terms of both the visual. You'll note that I put it on a heavier piece of paper. It's a little bit glossy. The QR codes, people are going to be mixed reviews on, which I am ready for. But again, that gives us an opportunity to deliver more information in a smaller space. And it drives people to our website, which is where all of our information can live without
People
extra.
can post this on their fridge and.
That was my,
week to week,
yes.
if they want to know what the pool schedule is, they can just scan
Yes.
it right then. And
Right.
because if there's updates, that would be the best way to get the
Yes,
updates.
because that was also happening, is we post a schedule in the Ed Plus, somebody puts it on their
And then it changes.
refrigerator and then it changes. You know, whether the pool has something break down and they're closed for the week, or, you know, Northern Freeze bus breaks down and we have to reschedule a game, you know, that sort of stuff. So I think it's the right step. Like I said, acknowledge that there are going to be some people who are unhappy with it. Out here, we do have paper programs, right? So if I told Chuck, who's manning the ticket booth, if he gets somebody who really wants a paper program, we've got a few that he can hand out. He does have them hiding in a stash under his cash box, though. Trying to retrain people.
We couldn't print anymore.
Yeah, I did print him a few more. I'm softer than Mary is. Go ahead.
I just, on the cost too, I would think that, we talked about staff time and the lack of staff time, to put something like this together, way easier.
Way easier.
And
Like 2 days less easier.
yeah.
When I say 2 days, I was working probably 24 hours, 3 8-hour days. That's accumulated over time, obviously, but about 3 8-hour days, we're putting that other Ed Plus together, not to mention every other staff member's work in getting me their stuff to put in it. This took me about a day. A few other hours with people editing and things like that. But so, yeah, it's a move. I understand there's pros and cons to both, but I do think and we have reduced to 2 issues. So there will be a back to school and then a kind of late, probably March-ish, that gets you ready for some of the spring stuff happening. So we are reducing our stuff as well. Pre-K class update. We are this is partially an update for you, given that there was some conversation that you had in the spring about our school readiness pre-K classroom. We are fully booked. We have 20 students who are all 4-year-olds, which means that they are eligible for voluntary pre-kindergarten money. So we initially received 15 spots of VPK money. We applied, given we knew we had a big class, applied for an additional 5 spots. We received that. So we are funded at 20 spots for VPK, which means they have to be 4 years old by September 1st of the school year.
Were we able to get everybody in who wanted to be in?
No.
Okay.
So we have 2 on a waiting list, working with Head Start currently to see if there's an MOU that we can establish so that those students would be in a Head Start class.
Still all but 2.
Decent. And I think this is going to be a big class anyway, so this might not be the same issue next year. But it was a point of contention. We have talked a lot about what does our enrollment process look like for that class, trying to get parents a decision as early as possible, while also, and this, I think Jeff and I agree on this, part of the delay is to ensure that people are using or are applying to Head Start also. By delaying our admittance, we are working with Head Start to make sure that the kids who apply and are accepted to Head Start get that spot before they take a spot in our class. It's a kind of dance we do. And Head Start has been really good working with us. Jackie Stinson and I over there have a really good relationship, kind of on the phone every couple weeks trying to talk about enrollment. I understand that parents want to know as soon as possible. And I got feedback this year that the end of the school year, end of May, is a good time, which is 2 months earlier than what we've been doing in the past. So that was the date I'd picked, and I think I'll shoot for that again next year. But, you know, it's a rolling process. I had a student drop 2 weeks ago, and we added another kid. So it's the same with kids getting admitted, you know, enrolled for bus stuff. Like, we'd love for it to be cut and dried, everyone knows by March, but it's just not feasible in a lot of ways. So I'm excited about that. We want kids in pre-K. Nicole Fiala is doing a great job at envisioning that classroom to meet her skills. She's kind of revamped the literacy curriculum, which is her expertise. I'm learning a lot from her in terms of kids don't learn the alphabet in alphabetical order anymore. They learn it based on sounds, and, you know, I'm not a reading specialist, so. But her skill set in that classroom, I think, could have some really cool impacts on the kids there. She's taking it, she's professionalizing it, she's doing a really good job there. So appreciative to have her as a partner on that, and on the education side of that as well.
We're not going to mess kids up in like 8th or 9th grade.
I hope so.
Say
Like
alphabetical order. Or
M, Z, well, you know, who knows. Any questions about any of that? Okay, great. Thank you. Go to the volleyball game.
How did the VPK selection process go? In terms of, and I know you probably answered that, but sign-up date or date of birth? What was the priority?
Both, which is a frustrating answer. So everybody applied. I did not give anybody an answer as to yes or no until I had almost a full slate in late May. And then I took, okay, priority is you have to be 4, because now that we have 20 spots of VPK funding, all of those kids, in order to get that money, have to be 4. We can't be doing older kids, we can't be doing younger kids. So those kids have to be 4. And then we do application order. So who applied first? Which seemed the fairest, both for our budgeting needs as well as you know, people who got their stuff in.
So what do you think the odds are that the 2 kids that are on a waiting list, so to speak, that they will?
I can't say.
I mean, obviously you're hoping.
I'm hoping, right, and like working hard to make that happen if we can. So I couldn't even give you a percentage, because it does depend. You know, like Head Start could get an over-income spot for a kid that's already in our classroom. We shift them over to Head Start, which opens up a spot here. So they're dealing, Head Start, and they're, like I said, great, but they're dealing with their own mess of kind of federal bureaucracy. When I say mess, it's obviously very regimented, but they've got a lot to manage on their end in terms of how that works. Part of the other thing that we're dealing with, it's a little bit of a kind of put your hands in the air, is summer birthdays. So you have a kid who's born July 1st. They will technically be 4 on September 1st. However, parents might not want to send their kid to kindergarten that following year. But we cannot, because they will be 5 September 1st, cannot take them for a second year of pre-K under VPK rules. So they've had 1 year of pre-kindergarten, which is how Nicole is billing this. We are getting you ready for kindergarten in the next year. But they might have a year of a break where we don't necessarily have a spot for them because I'm valuing or prioritizing 4-year-olds. And I've tried to communicate that as best I could to the parents who have summer birthdays for the kids that are in our class right now. The expectation, right, that's how you phrase it. The expectation is your student is going to kindergarten next year. Of course, there will be situations situations where we don't do that, they don't do that and choose to do something else, but we may not be able to promise you a spot in that pre-K classroom. So that's a funky one, because I don't blame parents. They have a tough decision to make in that summer birthday model. We also are obligated to the rules and restrictions and rules and restrictions that we have. So that's been a little bit of this like back and forth with parents in terms of I can only do so much. So I will say the compromise, if that's how you want to phrase it, that Mary and I have worked out is that students can do 2 years of kindergarten. And that is not a detriment in any way to the school, and often happens often. And so trying to communicate that to
Woody at 4 years.
Kindergarten, 4th grade,
Yeah.
6th grade.
So and we communicating that too. So if you don't have an option, you want to keep your kid in school, we can reassess at the end of that kindergarten year if another year of kindergarten is fine. Doing kindergarten a second year with another teacher is a totally different experience for those kids. So that's a lot of information for you, but that's when you hear from the community about their concerns about this, that's the context and constellation of what we're talking about. So, does that answer that was long-winded. You taught me that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. She is your daughter.
Yeah, I know. It's your own fault. Okay, I'll give you this back. I'm not asking for any more questions because I gotta go back to work.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Well, that's it. We've got a couple of minutes. Anybody need a break?
A real interesting book I read one time called Outliers.
Sheena,
And it
I have a
discussed
question.
birth dates.
Birthdays.
Like if you're a hockey player, you want to be born on the 1st of January.
Exactly, you want to be within, yeah, you want to be born early in the year.
I know, but this is the regular one when it's more than.
Yeah, Malcolm Gladwell, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to get on a subject where the board was going to have to suggest copulation dates or something, you know,
Is that what it is?
or conception dates or whatever the word is. Hey, no,
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was 100.
Can't do it in the summer.
Right, because
Okay.
yes, you put 150 last time. and
Okay.
That was right, because you were.
So a
Yeah.
big school,
That's right.
I mean,
Yes.
the 20
I
places
wasn't
must
sure.
be based
I
on
wrote
our
it.
student population. I mean,
It doesn't matter.
Partially, it's.
Whenever you normally do.
It's something that we, well, it can still be, I don't care, people hear what I say, might help them. You have to apply for those seats, and it gets approved by the state.
like a High Falls or a Bemidji has to have
They
20.
would apply for how many seats they feel they're gonna have. But this goes back a few years, and I'm not gonna remember what year we initially did it. Initially, there was a year where, we applied for 15 seats. That's what we got. That's what we stayed at. And then what the state does is, when they know how many actual kids are sitting in each classroom across the state, they'll see how many seats are available, and then we can reapply. That's how we got the additional 5 seats. So it's just based on, they allocated X number of dollars for VPK, and they do the formula, and they know that that's this many seats.
This is the one where you can't even play like the other one where there's a fee or something.
Like you want your child to go.
I didn't have, I think I'm missing a.
Yeah,
No,
if
last
they
Monday.
qualify for
What
VPK,
was last Monday?
so let's say you had 15 seats,
I knew it.
free
I
for
really thought like there was
4-year-olds.
something.
You can't charge, if you want to fill those seats with other 4-year-olds, even though you're not getting the money, you can't charge a fee for that. That's how that works.
So the,
But if you had some 5-year-olds and you had open seats, you could charge a fee for that.
and I know that there are parents who, I would assume that's the reason, just think their kids would benefit by getting a later start, whether it's,
And I would just
maturing or,
encourage them to
But-
enroll them into kindergarten, and if they feel.
yeah, I could see the kindergarten twice makes sense. So the one thing that bugs me about it is, so you got 20 seats, but we're graduating classes hopefully of 35 kids, let's say, on an average. Where are we getting the other 15 kids? Head Start will have that many?
Head Start has 16 to 20.
It is that
Last year
big a
they had
group, huh?
17. Yep. And there's some families that choose not to do.
And the Head Start is all economically based.
Income-based. Yep.
Yeah. And so when a kid, like Sam was saying, a kid says, oh, I qualify for Head Start, is that the preferred route? I mean, would they go there, or is it get to the point where the parents want to pick one or the other, or?
Programming is very similar. In fact,
They're very good about being very open to going to Head Start when they qualify, and it's an excellent program. And we can say that about both, and I think because of the convenience for parents that they're housed in our building, they're fine with it. I think that makes a big difference is because they're housed here.
and they're structured a little bit differently, so they can actually get a little more adult help in their room. So the student to adult ratio is actually usually better in the Head Start program, just because they're federally funded. So,
In some respects, the repeating kindergarten kind of makes sense if the kid needs it, because
Yep.
then everything's covered, the transportation and all that. Not saying
It actually did for me. I was born in Oklahoma. And my mother started me in kindergarten before my 5th birthday.
Uh-huh.
I made it through the first year of kindergarten and moved to another section of town. And I basically bailed out of 1st grade. I ended up back in kindergarten. It just wasn't ready.
Yeah, you see a lot of kids do that, where the parents are kind of saying, it's August, September, what grade are we going in?
Yeah.
I think athletically, a lot of people make that choice too. I mean, I don't think that's unusual.
I know in that book Malcolm Gladwell wrote about certain European countries actually start students in sports on a quarterly basis rather than an annual. The students can start along with other students with their abilities.
All right, we'll get going. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we will, what's the official, 7:04, call it. Need a motion and second to approve the August 26, 2024 meeting agenda.
Motion by Lyon.
do you want to include the additions?
And I have a question.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sorry,
second.
I'm out of order.
Go.
We need a
No,
second. I'm out of,
I'm out of order.
Why don't we hold your
I'll hold my-
motion, and we'll go motion to approve the 26 meeting agenda with
additions,
additions.
number 5, Carla Rabita, resignation as school board director. And under appointments, Chris Berthume, paraprofessional.
So I have a question, and I could be off by a meeting in my memory. But at the last meeting, I think we talked about some, I looked back, because Kayla Thompson, when did we approve her as a coach? Because didn't we bring that up and they said, I think Sam's waiting till next month when she has a full roster. Is that last month?
Yeah, I think
That was
so,
said, because
we talked about coach.
I feel like I looked
I
at
feel like
the,
she's on the list, but let me see if I can.
I feel like, I have to find it now, in the,
That we didn't approve her though.
Correct.
yes.
We tabled it.
Well, yeah, because we asked, that's not in here, and they said, we think it'll be next month when it's,
Yep.
when everything has been figured out. But I feel like when I looked at the list, and I have to go back and
She's
find
on the
it.
list.
Kayla?
Yeah. I
Is it-
saw it in my board minutes.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, I went back and looked at the board minutes, because, and that's where I'm saying I might be off a whole meeting in my mind.
No, she's on that list of coaches.
from, in the minutes?
Last week or last
No,
week?
this week, right now. I'm just calling it up, sorry, closed her out.
That
what-
Sam just presented though? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
doesn't it need to be like,
I don't think we ever approved it.
no, I was thinking we didn't.
Yeah,
She
Jill
was not-
Olson,
it
Andrea
was-
Nylander, Kayla Johnson, Maddie Nelson, and
Yes, but
Brianne Hendrickson.
I don't think, because if they were a coach last year and they're a coach this year, we don't do anything, they're still just a coach, right? But if they're new, and is Kayla the only one that's new? I kind of feel like maybe she is.
Jalen Raschke's new, correct?
No, he might be. And I looked in the last meeting minutes on July 22nd, and TJ Frericks was
I saw
approved,
that,
Yep.
yeah.
but he's the only one. So I just wanted, and maybe it can wait till September,
Well,
but I'm just
we
thinking.
don't have any of the coaches on the,
No, but some of them,
We have not
Have-
approved their,
I mean, we normally only.
Yeah, but I
approve
don't
the new
even see a
ones, right?
motion and a second
yeah.
on the agenda.
It's not, they are not on the agenda.
No.
If they're supposed to be.
right.
So it must be
Missing. I'm thinking.
either missing or next month, one of the two.
Let's do it next month.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because I
Yep.
noticed that maybe, I know Kayla's new and I couldn't remember about
Yeah.
Jalen
And it was brought up last meeting, we asked about it, and
and they said, oh, when it's a full slate next time.
you're
Yeah,
right.
but I was thinking, oh, maybe that was a different meeting. I don't know. Okay.
So, no, we did not get that listed on the appointments for
So,
But it
tonight's
will be
meeting.
next month.
It will-
yes, okay. That was my question. I just want to make sure it doesn't get missed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any more?
Nothing in June either, so.
I have no more.
Digression from
I have
our
no-
digression?
I have no more questions.
We'll go back to, I need a motion and a second to approve the August 26, 2024 meeting agenda with the addition of number 5, Carla Rabita resignation, and
C2, Chris Berthune.
Chris Berthune. Yep, that was the other one. Okay.
Motion by Lyon.
Motion by Lyon,
I'll second.
second by Sonstegard. Now do we have any discussion?
All cleared up.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Who motioned, I'm sorry.
Lyon
And me.
and then
Second.
Sonstegard.
Thank you.
Your odds were pretty good. You could have put any name down. 50-50.
I
Do we have any board presenters? Going with no? Written communications, we have, do we need to read it or anything, or just note that?
do. No, basically just says she's very sad to, it was to me, inform you that come September 1, I will be moving into the town of Baudette from Williams out of my district.
Okay. Any old business? Then we'll go on to new business. Need a motion and a second to approve the July 22nd, 2024 school board meeting minutes.
A motion.
Motion by
Second by Lyon.
Sonstegard, second by Lyon. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Need a motion and a second to approve the invoices, financial statements, bank reconciliation, wire transfers, and purchase card statement.
Motion by Lyon.
Lyon,
Second,
second by Trask. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Need a motion and a second to approve the resignations, retirements, and appointments as presented. Resignations, Tilly Thompson, paraprofessional. Janelle Lowe's, high school special ed teacher. Retirements, Terry Thompson, paraprofessional. Appointments, Kelsey Armstrong, paraprofessional.
And Chris
And
Berthune.
Chris Bethune.
And Chris Berthune.
I'll make a motion.
And I would second it.
Motion by Sonstegard, second by Lyon. Any discussion?
Thanks to all of them. Terry was here a long time, correct? In some capacity. She's been
Yeah.
in and out of the school a lot.
Yeah.
And done a nice job. I got a chance to get in Janelle Lowe's classroom occasionally and coach softball with her, and I thought she was just very good with those kids.
Yep, she did a very nice job with the kids. I want to say 7 or 8 years. Tilly, probably 4 years. In fact, she was this kind of person. She was actually in helping Nicole earlier today with getting her room set up. So.
And she brought a cow into the classroom 2 years in a row.
And hopefully she'll.
I mean, you can't.
You can't get.
She's not getting out of that. I think we still got to get cows in the classroom.
Absolutely.
Good question. Chris Berthew is being appointed to what position?
Paraprofessional.
Thank you.
And we did not advertise for either of those paraprofessional because these people had just been put on unrequested leave. So we called them back is how that works, so.
And does that continue, is that a continuation then of their position, like?
With longevity and stuff, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
There is a little symmetry in the world.
Say that again.
Does, like,
Like to count towards years of service or whatever.
Continuous service, yes, we
Yeah.
would give
It's
them
not like
continuous
starting
service.
over.
No,
yeah,
no.
good.
Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We need a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2024/2025-15, accepting a donation of $200 from the Jeffrey Burcham and Gretchen
Memo.
Memo, you got it.
All right. For the Calming Corners.
Lion motion.
Lyon,
I'll second.
second by Sonstegard. Any discussion? Thanks, Jeff and Gretchen. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Need a motion and a second to approve the Thiel photography contract for the 2024/2025 school year.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Sonstegard,
Second by Lion.
second by Lyon. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Need a motion and a second to approve the truth in taxation hearing for Monday, December 16th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the ITV room.
Motion by Lion.
Motion by Lyon,
Sonstegard.
second by Sonstegard. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Need a motion and a second to approve the Budet Lutheran Parish User Agreement for the 2024/2025 school year.
I'll make that motion.
Second by Lion.
Motion by Trask, second by Lyon. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Need a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2024/2025-16, accepting a donation of $600 from Ruby's Pantry for the Community Ed Summer Theater.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Sonstegard,
Second by Lion.
second by Lyon. Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Need a motion and a second to approve the teacher contract with Nathan Solar for the 2024/25 school year.
Motion by Lion.
Motion by Lyon. I'll second that.
There you go.
Second by Johnson. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And we will stand adjourned at 7:16.